Good morning. Good to be here with you again. Monday morning, another bright week, another beautiful week with all of the expectations that, of course, we have. We should expect good things, great things to happen. So I must say, welcome to our week of greater exploits and greater things. My name is Tomi Siljo. This is the bumper breakfast. And of course, every typical Monday morning, I always have Kemi Omoshebi right here with me. Kemi, good morning.
Good morning, Tomisi.
How are you doing today?
I'm fine. I'm great. How are you too?
Yeah, so.
You're looking good, anyways. As always.
Yeah, and you look all colorful. I've never seen you on multicolored like this. And
No, that's it.
as in,
Thank
like,
you.
you do basic colors, and then this time around you're multicolored, as in different colors and all that.
Thank you.
I mean,
Thank
from
you.
your eyeshadow all the way to your clothes.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I didn't so much this morning.
Thank you so much, Tomisi.
I'm sure we'll have a lot of expectations, for the week. And of course, the first segment of the news this morning is just about chit-chatting about some of the things that have happened in recent times. So we'll have joining us on the table just before we go into the papers, Mr. Akin Fatuke. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Tomisi. Good morning, Kemi.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Nigerians.
So for a lot of people who do not know Mr. Fatuke is a communicator, a master. I'd love to call him a strategist because, he's somebody that has vast knowledge in that and imparts such knowledge also to people who are willing to learn. He is an economist and, of course, he is one of the elder statesmen who believes in the projects Nigeria and always joins us on the Bumper Breakfast to just preach it and, of course, let people know that Nigeria can still get things right. All right, so, Mr. Fatuke, how has been your week? I was in the market yesterday, and one of the first set of things that occurred to me was the fact that our people just do not believe that COVID-19 exists. They just don't believe. It doesn't exist, basically.
Sorry, sir. I don't think they don't know it doesn't exist right now. What I feel they don't know right now, or they just decided not to follow protocols. They know it exists right now because at least the people I was able to talk to as regards, they know it exists. Is it that they're tired of following protocols and wearing their mask, or they're just taking things with levity? They know it exists. Really, that's what I feel. That's what I've observed. They really know it exists.
So basically, something exists, you could be punished for it. Okay, no, first of all, it exists, it could kill you. That if it doesn't kill you, you could be punished for not following the protocol and yet you don't follow it. What kind of psyche is that?
Nigeria with a nonchalant attitude.
Yes, it may be nonchalant, but I think it's becoming more of a typical Nigerian thing.
It's
Right from the head, from the top, down to the bottom. A lot of things do happen, apart from the fact that we don't have the capacity. Once upon a time in 1965, we could go and get vaccinations at IDH Yaba. You go there, the infectious disease hospital in Yaba was catering and it was doing that. And then we have decided to run that down. I remember during the time of Professor Tam David West, one of the virologists that I think we had at University College Hospital in Ibadan, University of Ibadan, basically, University of Ibadan. A lot of hues and cries were made. Of course, government turns the other side. Now, when government turned the other side at that time, it's exactly what we have now that disease cannot come here anyway. Let's just continue to share money. Petrodollars was coming in and we are doing the yafu yafu all around. Zoom it down now to what we have here. Even the government itself, by their body language, seems to also not even believe, even though we make a matter of it. I will give you two examples why I say so.
Okay.
Recently, we were given some vaccines to come in. And then we looked at ourselves and said, we're going to give it to Cape Verde because we are really not sure that the kind of fatalities we have here is commensurate for us to
Get the vaccine.
vaccines. Oh, we are big brother Africa. Likewise, Nigeria says they are going to try and help Mozambique to combat terrorism.
When we are still fighting,
when
we are
at
still
our,
battling
at
with
our
us.
backyard, things seem to be coming. Remember the proverbial, or not proverbial, no, it's the actual situation where we are talking about linking Sims to NIM, and you begin to wonder, a government that believes, like Tomi Singh has said, and I believe Tomi Singh because it's not just because she's saying it, it's because I have also witnessed a situation where loved ones are falling down to COVID. And then people are then saying, how do you do this? People are not using face masks. And you insist that they should go in. Is the body language of government not saying, do we really believe in it? I don't want to go to Kogi State. Governor Yaya, who kept on saying there is no COVID in Nigeria and all that. Yeah, to your turn to Israel, like I always say, your health is your responsibility. And
your personal responsibility.
Real personal responsibility. And if you care for any other person around you, if you think your responsibility is for yourself, and you think your neighbor or the person that you meet on a regular basis is not your responsibility, that person will import
the
infection, the virus, the pandemic into you, and then before you know what is happening, the community is agog with this. Yeah, Nigeria, not just on this matter, in all aspects and all facets of our lives, we have always been very unserious, whether it's in sports, whether it's in education, whether it's in
no sectors.
We won't talk about security. Look at the SDG goals, about 17 of them. Take them one by one. Nigeria, Nigerians, policymakers, those who rule us, I say rule us, not leading us, because they rule, and those who are also following them have shown the capacity for high drama, and a capacity that people are just not serious. At the end of the day, like I always say, there is a conspiracy theory that says we are, quote, 201 million, even though we're not able to count ourselves, it's an estimation. It's gone up because population is going at 3%. I have a snake feeling that government is just waiting for a catastrophe to happen, like it happens in India, it happens in India and Pakistan.
And we shouldn't wait. We honestly shouldn't wait.
And then it will just take people off because they can't really fend for them. I know it's a terrible.
Yes, we're back here, and of course, we're just having conversations about COVID-19 and some of the issues that had happened before that abrupt break. Now, we're going straight into the dailies this morning and highlighting some of the stories in the papers. We'll now begin with The Guardian, which starts with the banner headline of government needs 2 trillion naira to immunize over 200 million Nigerians. May spend 921.2 billion naira on 140 million people by 2022. Logistics 3 times cost of procuring the vaccines, says the PSN. Engage consultant public health pharmacists to reduce the cost. Of course, the picture story comes with the pictures of the 2 people in charge of health in Nigeria as far as this COVID-19 issue is concerned. Dr. Chike Iyekiazu, who is for the DG of the NCDC, and of course you have the Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Ihanere, and devolution of power, solution to Nigeria's problems, says Agbakoba. Federal government's failure to curb civil strife worries the NCF, and as the NC front group to convoke Constituent Assembly in May, plan mega political movement in March. That story is also there. Why Nigerians will return PDP in 2023. That's coming from Wike. And it is Sue's IGP over dismissal of pregnant police woman. Bandits kill 19 persons in Kaduna, Niger State. Stakeholders fault relocation of DPR to Abuja. These are stories on the front page of the Guardian newspaper this morning.
Okay, still looking at some of the stories making the round in the newspaper this morning. We have the Punch newspaper here, and the banner line says petrol price may eat 190 naira as oil nears $60. And we have Ekiti Ondo deploy Amotekun in forest boundaries against herdsmen. Ondo task force comes forest for errant herdsmen. And no killer herdsmen in Ekiti forest, says Finance aid. 17.03 billion liters of fuel consumed in 13 months, says NNPC. Cryptocurrencies breed illegal activities, raise risk, says CBN. All right, still in the front page of the Punch newspaper, just like we can see on our screen, we have a picture story of protesters in convoy demonstrating against the military coup in Myanmar on Sunday. Okay, we also have Winners Pastor jailed for stealing church $90,000 US, that's 4.5 million naira. Habga tackles Ngige as minister calls Obiano Aldo governor. Again, bandits raid Kaduna communities, killed for 19 and burnt houses. NMA attacks Health Workers Union, says Joasu Enrios. Suspected herdsman slaughter farmer on Ogun farm. Pregnant cop. Ekiti sues IG, says these regulations violate constitution. Wow, interesting stories we have on the front page of the Punch newspaper.
We're moving straight to the Nation newspaper this morning. Rampaging bandits kill 19 in raid on 2 councils, and houses, shops, church burnt. Of course, troops gunned down 52 in Zamfara forest. That's the story right in front of the Nation newspaper this morning. The protest in Mihama is making the front page as well, with the pictures. Justice for Mihama is all right there. Of course, protester giving flowers to policemen during the protest. The monk raises the 3-finger salute, a signature of the protest. All of that front page picture, you have that there. Marwa to Barons, we will smoke you out. The newly appointed boss of the NDLEA are talking tough. 82 die of COVID-19 in 1 week. Envoys designate fair mission with shuffle with ex-service chiefs nomination. Induction shifted to accommodate Olonishaki and Buratai. Others. Why many countries reject cryptocurrencies by the CBN. Governor, Kwara APC dissidents face suspension. Military drafted to warn Oshu communities. Government slams a 24-hour curfew. And SEC begins listing of ordinary nominee firms. Lagos and Betsy Summit for February 16. And right below the Nation newspaper, reps in battle with NNPC over audited accounts, and it's quiet to know your PGB over a viral video.
All right, finally, taking a look at the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, and we have earned allowance, FGO university workers, over 150 billion naira. Unions say workers not paid since 2011. Approval of 20 private varsities, a mockery of Nigeria's education, says ASU. Cryptocurrency is illegal, used for money laundering and terrorism, says CBN. Bandits kill 19, raise houses in 2 Kaduna local government areas. Still on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, we have Ekiti government sues RGP over dismissal of pregnant police woman. Why we can't confront kidnappers, says Edo Police, that we can find in the Nigerian Tribune. Also, ABC chairman killed in Benin. Zamfara APC resolves crisis, picks Yari as leader. Afeni Ferry notice demand new constitution, saying 1999 document can solve security challenge. 2 dead in Ilobu. Can you open that?
Ilobu and area shown.
Yes, thank you. Land dispute crisis. Osun government declares 24-hour curfew. Soldiers, policemen move in. And we have a picture story here on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune where we have Governor Simon Lalong of Plateau State and his wife Regina and their commemoration service to mark the third Plateau Day of Forgiveness and Reconciliation at St. Louis Catholic Church in Jos on Sunday. That's the picture story we have in the Nigerian Tribune, and that's all we have for today.
All right, still taking a look at some of the stories in the papers. We'll begin right with cryptocurrency. Nigeria outlaws a cryptocurrency just last week. I mean, Nigeria CBN outlaws a cryptocurrency, and it has seemed to a lot of people like they're witch hunting us. Is this normal? But I find it quite interesting that on the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning, you have the CBN of Nigeria says Nigeria is not the only country where cryptocurrency is outlawed. What do you think?
That's correct. Even normal currencies are abused, you know, in terms of the wiring and the internet transfers. The Yahoo boys have done quite a lot in that direction. But I'll just make 2 or 3 statements here. The first is that cryptocurrency has come to stay. Like the internet is something you can really say you can't do without. Secondly, it's also true that the FBI, through their investigations in seeing monies that are wired around different countries of the world, of which our dear country, Nigeria, is a major one, says that a lot of our GDP, because when you look at GDP, when you measure GDP, it's also the things that you produce within your economy and what your nationals either have taken out, for which they decide to add value and then bring back. You have to net that to get the cumulative aggregate of your GDP, export less imports, we call it in that great equation. Now, a lot of the value in terms of transfer pricing has gone out of Nigeria. In cryptocurrency, they have found out that what comes back by way of remittance is lower. So, Kenny, you and I have done transactions. I've used my labor, I've used whatever, and have given something out to you.
Yes.
And when I give it out to you, we agree at a price. You are in a different country, and then you decide to pay. When you now then decide to pay, it has to be declared that this is what you have paid for it. But consistently, we found out that what was being declared is by far lower than what is in there. So there is some kind of leakage in there, and the fear is this leakage could be for private pocket, but when this money is going to huge sums of money, there is an aspect of money laundering. There's also a fear that a lot of these monies that are leaking out there are being used for, the untoward activities of Boko Haram, the ISWAP, to get guns. Today we are asking, how did guns get into the hands of non-state actors and all that kind of stuff? So what needs to be done is that the problem will always be there. An expressway has been constructed. The problem that it can knock down people will always be there, isn't it? So, I mean, if you go out there and you don't have some rules and procedures, either because you have put, a passageway by to cross, or you limit the kind of speed that people go in on that highway, or you totally ban that crossing at those points, really crossing at those points is not acceptable. Those are the kind of policy procedures that you put in place. Likewise, as a cryptocurrency, we should, and I will be surprised that the authorities are not aware that there will be risks in there. Are there process and procedure that have been put in place, or are we just waking up suddenly because the FBI has said this is now hurting our economy? So if you put mitigating processes in place, some people say some of the things you are going to put in place might be expensive, but in the long run, it helps you to streamline things. And when people know that the process is strict and go in there, you don't have, then end up punishing people who are doing things legitimately, because in the cryptocurrency issue, people are doing things legitimately.
Sure.
Maybe only a few bad eggs, bad sheep, are spoiling the whole broth.
So, in your own opinion, you feel what the CBN has said is it's okay, it's fine by you.
Well, it's okay to the extent that it can be demonstrated.
Okay.
Now, my challenge is the fact that you cry foul. Yes, maybe for security reasons, you will not be able to go into the nitty-gritties. But I want situations where those who can be traced are traced and punished. That's when it's going to begin to make sense to me. If CBN is looking at cryptocurrency and is saying it has to be regulated, no, it's cancelled. They are going to put a form of lien on its usage. Yeah, it makes sense. But what about outside cryptocurrencies? Inter-money transfers, that SCUML is not detecting money going underground, not necessarily cryptocurrencies now, that we know that is being done illegally, even at the highest level of government. Who is looking at that? So we need to be very wholesome. Yes, I agree. The CBN has the power and the right to begin to highlight to us that there are dangers inherent in cryptocurrencies for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 reasons. These are the mitigating factors. These are the things that we are doing in the interim to make sure we streamline, like the Games Park Rangers. Yes, you have the freedom to be able to come and do whatever it is, but we must now structure it in such a way. And one of the ways to do that is to do technology all around. Cryptocurrency comes with some kind of technology. We should just plug into that. We must, and that's my final, we must not throw away the baby
with the bathwater. Now, we had Bitcoin before this happened. We had Bitcoin. A lot of people were trading Bitcoin online.
Very long time.
They're still talking about it. Now, cryptocurrency also came about and people started trading crypto. A lot of people have money, huge sum of money in crypto as we speak.
Yes.
What happens to their money?
Okay.
Because this was something, the typical Nigeria policies, which amazes me, especially when it has to do with CBN. They released something and they're like, in 24 hours. It was something that happened just like that. And the instruction was like, before the end of the day, this must be done.
Let me situate it. And this time I am not talking for government. Because I think government needed to have done a bit much more than what they had done, so that we don't get into this kind of knee jerk. I also am aware, because ignorance of the law cannot really be an excuse. I know there has been some hee-haw, to-fro, concerning the fact that the CBN, at one point in time, I'm not really aware, I'm not too sure about this, had not sanctioned that crypto and the Bitcoin forms of exchange has been officially approved. I know that the regulators was giving warnings. Please be very careful. Initially, people were looking at it like the MMM, Wonder Bank thing and stuff like that. And then over time, it was demonstrated that this is not what we thought.
It is.
Government, CBN, perhaps as a signatory to the financial regulations that happens everywhere, keyed in without necessarily sanctioning and saying, please go ahead now. Very similar to the land is there, it's a community land and all that. You could go ahead and start to build a house in there. If you build a house in there, yes, your parents have lived there for a long time and you do not have a building plan approved by the government. Possibility exists that you do not have a C of O, and you do not have a C of O, you can come in 5, 10, 15, 20 years time to demolish without any compensation. So that's on one hand. Now, where compassion now then comes into it is that I know somebody in the security area perhaps has seen blood, has seen red. Hey, huge sums of money are about to hit. And if they hit, it's not going to augur well, both for the economy, for security, and what have you. So the security forces will be looking at that. They will never, ever be able to disclose that to us. Now, if you are caught in between, it's called collateral damage. You are caught in between. But over time, because I believe we run the rule of law, you could make a case through arbitration that yes, you have a work in progress and a lot of money ought to have come to you and it's legitimate. You could, to me, you could make a case for that.
Case.
But if you are one of them that you are trying to build illegality upon illegality upon illegality, like Kalu, you know, the Lotto, you have just thrown a dice. Unfortunately, you have not won. Now, people who are won, Robinson, you asked that people who have invested a lot in this.
Yes.
You went in there conscious of the fact that there are quite some risk factors if you are going to be doing it in Nigeria. Does not take away the fact that you should not have been part of it. No, that's what I'm saying. That there is a lot of risk factors inherent in you wanting to do it in Nigeria, and should, in case anything happen within the geographical zone that is called Nigeria, your capacity and capability to sue and be sued on account of that, it's just going to be a multilateral thing that people will be talking, the CBN of Nigeria talking to CBN of Nigeria, the US government talking to Nigerian US government, to the Nigerian government, and then you can get into a kind of diplomatic settlement. But short of that, it's not just only crypto, it's not only Bitcoin. There are quite so many other things that I know we do by way of the fact that we are Commonwealth, yes, we are part of Community of Nations, that you try to say you do not go through the normal banking system. And because you do not go through the normal banking system, some of these things may not be tracked. And government, responsible government, is now beginning to see certain things are beginning to come in, and they've been able to trace. I'm not speaking for government, like I said. They've been able to trace, and they've been able to find out that quite a number of things that are coming in are killing the local, maybe killing the local industries. They are not being deployed to the commanding heights. They are not being deployed to ensuring that our children get educated. Rather, it is going to fund hard drug business, for instance.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Let's
So that is
what
it.
what I wanted to make an instance, because we have a quite number of Nigerian youth who are trading in cryptocurrency, and we even have companies that are already set up by even some major youth who actually saw the significant, or saw the benefits,
The opportunities.
the opportunities in Bitcoin. Now, what is their faith? Like, I know quite a number of companies that have been set up all in the name of Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and they even have a lot of money. And I even heard that some even are ATMs where they can actually make transactions and everything. This is a whole lot of money that
There's
has
a
been
bank
invested.
apparently who had to suspend their activities due to that. As a bank called Providence
Absolutely,
Bank.
absolutely, there will naturally be losses. There will be collateral damages.
So what's the
like
fate
I
of
said.
the youth?
It's like the petroleum industry. You could have gone to hedge, or well, when you say you hedge, you take a bet that all things being equal, price of the Brent sweet is $60 now. Let me just make sure I go and gather and put my inventory in there so that I can make a kill. It's a risk, because at the end of the day, things may go right or may go left. Now, having said that, I made a caveat in my statement here on legality. If it is a legally set up outfit, this is where we now need to test our rule of law. Now, the members of your state, the members of your National Assembly, these are times now you can go and make a presentation to them and say, yes, this is what we have done. This is our legitimate business. We've done it over time. We have committed a lot of capital into it, and they can look at it. CBN can look at it. EFCC can look at it. It is only when you have something to hide that you will now be, showing two sets of books. You can make it as open as possible. This is how we have contributed to the economy. You are going to be making a big statement out of there, because let's separate the men from the boys.
We've done this for the economy. Let me take you up, Mr. Fatuke. One of the questions I asked you is why immediate? Why did we do it and it must be done now? The letter from the CBN obtained by the media was released on the 5th of February 2021. And if I'm correct, that was Friday. Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria circular on January 12, 2017, reference, which cautioned deposit money banks, non-bank financial institutions, other financial institutions, and members of the public on the risk associated with transactions in cryptocurrency refers. Further to earlier regulatory directives on the subject, the bank hereby wishes to remind regulated institutions that dealings in cryptocurrency or facilitating payments for cryptocurrency exchanges is prohibited. Accordingly, all DMBs, MBFIs, and OFIs are directed to identify persons or other entities transacting in or operating cryptocurrency exchanges within their payment system and ensure that such accounts are closed immediately. Now, please know that the breaches of this directive will attract severe regulatory sanctions. The letter is with immediate effect.
Okay.
This was on Friday.
Friday, yeah.
Now, people have money
Yes.
already tied down. They're not trading. They have money saved. They need to get their money out. This directive, shouldn't it have included, give all of them the opportunity to take their money out in 24 hours? Because we already have a complex. So I'm a little bit concerned, just like the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar stated out. Nigerian youths are, as we speak, jobless, looking for a means of livelihood and struggling to make ends meet. Yet, majority of them who have even tried to do things. Now, majority of financial institutions who engage in investments here and there engage this same system. Why are we outlawing something in the, I'm not saying don't do it, I'm just saying, why must it be immediate? What is the rush? Why not say in the next 72 hours, everyone that operates a cryptocurrency account is going to find the account closed? So thereby, kindly take your money, whatever, just give them the opportunity to recoup opportunity. Because despite the fact that cryptocurrency was outlawed, the only thing you have done is to create loopholes for people who operate it. Immediately after this training, immediately after this, we started seeing trainings online. People saying, this is what you can do to save your money. This is what you can do. This is how you can get your money out.
Anyway,
A lot of people started training immediately. They started training people on how not to. So it's not as if you're stopping Nigerians from doing it. They're just telling them to hide it.
I go back to my point. In what you have just read, I think it's quite clear that that CBN letter made a reference
To a 2017 letter
to some
that
warnings.
cautioned them against transactions like that.
Now, was that a statement of fact?
It was quoted.
If it was a
That's the letter on the screen.
if it was a statement of fact, I do not think prima facie we can now question the CBN in wanting to do what they did. Pure and simple. It meant that those who engaged in this were doing it on strength of some other authorities, not necessarily the CBN authority that's supposed to be looking at this collectively. Now, when that letter of warning came out, was there a representation made to the Federal Ministry of Finance? Was there a representation made? Maybe. I won't be surprised that the thing is crawling in some places, which is one of the things that we have in this country. And maybe some people have given, a kind of, oh, don't worry, it's going to be done. It's going to be cleared and all that. That was risky, in my view.
All right, let's move on from
It's
here.
risky,
Mr. Masuga.
in my view. And you are talking about compassion. Points that must be made, for your sake, my sake, and for the sake of Nigeria, is that a red flag might have been seen somewhere.
It was the FBI.
And when the red flag was seen, that a lot of arms and ammunitions and untoward things are coming. It's just like the NSAS and the hoodlums. The NSAS was a great, fantastic concept, and I repeat that all the time. But by the time the hoodlums came into it, it turned the whole thing into what? An Armageddon of sorts. There will always be that collateral damage. And I say, if you are genuine, and you believe that you have done a lot of investments, can you open your books? Can we look at it openly?
Okay,
Yes.
let's move on from here. Something happened in Osun State, which was the story Kemi was talking about. A lot of people were armed. 2 people were fed dead in a land dispute that occurred in Osun State just over the weekend. Lobo and Osun. And something amazing to me, something disturbing at the same time. Shootings started. We keep talking about guns making their way into the hands of people, illegal guns all over Nigeria. How did land dispute in Osun State result into a shooting that had 2 people confirmed dead and others wounded? So much that the governor had to invite the military to come help secure the area
And even
with
the
the
curfew.
police and impose a 24-hour curfew in that place. What could have happened?
Toby Singh, what happened in Osun State, personally to me, is not a surprise.
Okay.
And it's been happening, maybe underreported, maybe not reported. But truth be told, that in the past 2.5 years, we've had skirmishes like this that you will never, ever imagine will degenerate into not just violence. Haven't you heard of the cult members? Where do they get the guns that they are using? In Itire, it just happened. We have fatalities in there. Go to Zagon Kataf in Kaduna. It's like every other day. These are happening. We see AK-47 with the headsmen. Where are all
Where are they
those
getting it from?
coming from? I'm careful to want to base whatever I say on some of the things that happen on social media. But I saw a social media presentation where bandits, I'll call them, with cattle, went into a farmland and they were clearly cutting cassava, and it was all shown. You dare not.
Did you see
them.
the report in Osun State? I think it was in the news on Thursday night. There was a report from Osun State, which Ogun State, if I'm correct, Ogun State rather, which some of the farmers
Yes.
told us they couldn't go back to their farms. Why? That got into a point where they even had marks, to show us where the heads, they were hit on the head with a machete. One man's hand was completely maimed.
Most unfortunate.
They cannot go to their farms any longer.
They cannot go to their farms any longer.
They cannot. Their
And,
cassava, the man said he saw them eating the cassava, saw the cows eating the cassava. And he went to the elder who led the cows to the farm and said, your cows are eating my cassava. They are eating my... He said the next thing he got was machete on his head. With intent to kill.
That
So what he
reminds me.
did was to use his hand to block it.
And then
He still had a mark, and then part of his hand was chopped off.
Now, Dr. Borode was butchered, according to the reports we had, was butchered and dismembered. In some other climes, again, if you are looking at Pan Nigeria, you know what the Boko Haram did for those who went to do rice farming in that part of the country. They came from Sokoto and what have you. They were slaughtered. So, the big thing is that Agric, which Mr. President says all the time is going to be a fallback position, is suffering. And it's the reason why food inflation is gone off the roof, is gone babas. The bottom line into this, because we started with Osun,
Yes.
and I've tried to paint it as a countrywide thing, is that security and safety of life and property has not been guaranteed by all governments in Nigeria. The right communication has not come. It's been to your tents, O Israel. The next thing we are going to find, even though guns have not been licensed, is that husband and wife in the house will begin to now then say, you talk to me like that.
Pull a gun on each
Before
other.
it was a slap,
Now.
before it was a shout. You are not sleeping with me enough and long, and then the next thing is people are going to now then
gun.
draw out a gun. We have gone into chaos where we have the Hobbesian shockness, deafness, the fact that nastiness has come,
Okay.
all under the smelly nose, the hearing ears, and the sightly eyes of government.
Okay, now looking
It
at
is most unfortunate.
okay, like to ask you a question, in one of the stories we have in the Nigerian Tribune here, it says that Femi Ferry orders demand new constitution, say 1999 document can't solve security challenge we are going through in Nigeria. What would you say as regards that?
That
Do
is
you
true.
think-
That's
okay.
that's what everybody has been saying. We need to restructure Nigeria. The situations where the military high command and the police high command will need to go to the center before they talk about things happening at Ilubu. It just does not make sense. You know, we have gotten into this barbariga, big agbega thing of the big man, and you know, I command, and it is only what I command. People now then begin to see me as the big emperor, while your people are dying. Yes. The 1999 Constitution said, we the people of Nigeria did not say that. I will put that aside. We could continually amend this Constitution. There are quite a number of low-hanging fruits. Devolution of power is one. The fact that we should not have a central police is because we talk about the central police is one of the reasons why we have Amotekun. That's one of the reasons why we have this Ebola in the north. That's why we have pockets here and there. They have been very, very ineffective. People are talking about state police. There are also pros and cons. Remember, we had state police in the First Republic. before the wet here and stuff. But society and culture is evolving and moving. And like I said with the cryptocurrency, you look at whatever it is that you want to do, you do the SWOT, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and trends of each, and then you begin to mitigate. And with the right attitude, the attitude of the fact that I'm coming to the table to contribute, the attitude of the people that rule us, not leading us, the people that rule us is only a barbaric thing. Take as much as we can. The rest can just go to places. And it's the reason why education will not be developed. It's the reason why health will not be developed. Bounce the rest of us to the
So
filling
it goes
states.
back to the point that our constitution needs an overhaul.
And
Well,
overhaul.
The National Assembly had said that it is not their duty, that they cannot, they do not have the mandate.
I didn't hear that.
Oh,
It rests squarely.
they said they can only amend the constitution. They
Well,
cannot
But
write
cannot
us
write the
a
constitution.
new
Oh,
constitution.
well. We will go into a referendum and compel the National Assembly that, look, let's have another take. But I think what you are actually saying is that they do not have the political will and power.
No, but they said they do not have the powers.
They do not have the political will to do what is right, because you are in a constituency, I'm in a constituency, this is what I want, you say that's what you want. Collectively we say this is exactly what we want, but for how long will that happen? Now, having said that, if a section of the country wants it overwhelmingly, another section of the country, for reasons best known to them, for self-interest, say they don't want it, and you see the way we've been divided, 774 local governments, and representation of people who are going to oppose, attempts have been made, are going to overshadow our own. Discontent will now then continue. IPOB will now then come into being. Sunday Igboho will now then come into being. And it's only for a wise parent, a wise father, or a wise leader to look at it beyond the here and now and say, things will not continue to go on or go well. Let me close my eyes and do what is right. Pure and simple. If we do not have that political and capacity to be able to do that, if we don't do what we need to do right now, I'm afraid we are all going to be consumed.
All right,
I pray it doesn't happen.
yeah.
Amen.
Our next conversation basically has to do with COVID, and we're talking about the kind of issues that we are going through today. The pandemic is ravaging the whole world, and as we speak, numbers are rising in Nigeria. Kemi, what are the numbers as of today?
Okay, today as at now, confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria stands at 139,748 confirmed cases of COVID-19, and active cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria, we have 24,556 active cases of COVID-19, and discharged cases so far over 100,000, which is 113,525 discharged cases, and total number of deaths recorded is 1,667. And as a matter of fact, on the 7th of February, which is yesterday, we had 506 new cases of COVID-19 with 20 deaths.
20 deaths in one day.
In one day.
So whether we
In
like it or
Nigeria.
not, the COVID-19 is increasing. And of course, people keep saying that schools are the most vulnerable of all of this. So we're talking about the tech-relevant teacher in this COVID-19 era. Coincidentally, that is one of the biggest issues that we have in the country as of today. I mean, almost every primary school teacher in Nigeria as we speak is not tech savvy. Almost every primary school teacher, except they work in very big or relatively medium income private schools. When it comes to the public schools, Mr. Fatuke, your opinion, public schools and tech, do you see that working for us?
Well, I did not see it working, even if you took me back to pre-COVID. Yes. Let's assume for a minute COVID did not come.
Yes, we never talk about it.
One of the things that we knew and that was being proposed either by ISU on one hand or by parents
Yes.
and stakeholders is the fact that we needed to fund education, one, and then part of that funding will be the fact that we need to deploy technology. The government now then say, yeah, it has to be technology for all. A lot of monies went into ComSat. It was whacked. Now, so pre-COVID, we needed to improve our adult and infant educational rates, literacy rates, that's what you call it.
Yes.
Reduce out of school dropouts and what have you. We were grappling with all those. For years, for close to 20, 25, 30 years, we had not done anything. Is akin to, rather than put your eyes in front so that you can go out there, you put your eyes out there, but you are walking backwards. Now, while that was happening, a thunderbolt came, and COVID now then came. Did you expect any miracle? But we also expected some innovation. So I understand when private schools, private universities got their acts together and they kept on doing the right things. It's exactly the thing that you find with public companies. The ones that are looking at taxpayers at the end of each quarter, at the end of the year, subvention is given by government from a pocket that is shallow, compared to the private sector. The private sector now got very, very innovative. They drilled their boreholes for water, they piped their electricity, they looked for their security, they built roads, they paid taxes, in addition to the fact that they kept on, and they went on like that as going concerns for ages. On the educational thing that you are talking about, the public schools will not have it because they were not planned for. And because they were not planned for, can we then therefore creatively ask ourselves hard questions?
Brings
We
me
can
to
arrange ourselves, not necessarily with technology, into little clusters here and there,
And do the teaching.
and begin to teach.
Well, brings me to a project that I came across last week called the Tech Relevant Teacher Project. It was an initiative of Bumi Adedayo Foundation initiative. And the project apparently aims to train 200 low-cost and middle school teachers and school heads in virtual teaching skills and technology. It also seeks to introduce virtual teaching in schools who do not have the resources and skills to do so by supporting them with the hardware and software resources. It's supposed to be a 4-month project between February and May 2021 and shall directly impact about 600 beneficiaries. That's about 200 school heads, 200 maths teachers, 200 English teachers, and of course indirectly reach over 1,400 teachers. The teachings are being delivered both virtually while the mentoring will be blended. It includes school sustainability and leadership conference. It's also going to involve training of teachers in virtual teaching skills. It's going to grant award to training schools and deserving schools who can set up a mini content production site. It's also going to be subject expert mentoring in maths and English, mentoring and production of e-learning courses, lessons for immediate uptake. And you know what? Every teacher can apply. That's basically the parts that I really love about it. Every teacher can apply. This is not something that people would have to pay for. It is something that is already being sponsored by one of the giants around, one of the FMCGs that I can think of. Coca-Cola is sponsoring already. Let's listen to what Olumayowa Ogunusi has to say about it.
And we're focused on not just qualitative and quantitative outcomes, in terms of teaching.
Counterparts from privileged background.
Yes, that was the tech relevant teacher projects. But one of the things, Mr. Fatuke, that brought this up is basically how long will it take us as a country to get to the point where we can boldly say that our children at the primary school level can at least compete with their counterparts in the other developing countries in Africa, like Ghana, like South Africa.
Yeah.
When our teachers cannot use a basic device at the level of a primary six student.
I tell you, it's moribund, it's sad, and like I always like to tell people, I'm not surprised. If you do not plan not to fail, you really plan not to succeed. Pure and simple. And there's no way you can plant corn and expect to harvest
Something else.
beans. Yes, it's gone far too long. Culturally, we have been divided. We have allowed religion to come into a lot of the things that affect us. I remember my history of Uthman Dan Fodio was a learned and he believed in learning. But we've been able to take some of those things and for whatever reason we've turned it around. And the girls that are supposed to be in school are busy
Doing different sort of things.
suffering, fistula. They are dying in thousands out of children's school. And when you try to now then say, okay, I know President Jonathan attempted to build Almajiri schools, they didn't go in there. Why? Because maybe policy of government is to perpetually keep people in a backward state so that they can use them
We need to go, Mr.
Korea.
Fatuke.
So having said that, it's going to take a long time. I am happy that you brought this on. Fantastic. We need to see more of pockets of this in the 6 geographical regions of the country, and government should support them. Government should really support them. Give them tax holidays.
We need to
give
go
them
to
pioneer
that way.
status, and that is the only way we can get there.
All right, let's try our possible best to stay safe and also know that security matter is very, very important. Please, let's watch out for one another and make the world a better place for us to stay.
My name is Tomisi Ojo, and of course, as we talk about COVID-19, means that every parent must take responsibility, and every man on the street must also do the same. We'll see you again tomorrow.